Hello students, how do you do? Today I will continue the explanation of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in Islam by Stephen Spendle. Yesterday I explained the first two stanzas. Let me refresh your mind. In the first stanza, the poet describes the pitiable and miserable condition of the slum children. They are untidy, they haven't combed their hair. There is a tall girl in the class who seems to be depressed due to worries and problems of her life. There is a boy who is malnourished, who is as thin as a paper due to weakness. There is another boy who has inherited the naughty disease of his father. There is a sweet and young boy sitting at the back of the classroom who dreams of squirrel's games. He is not able to pay attention to the class. He wants to play outside. Then the poet describes the wall of the classroom. The wall of the classroom is pale and dirty. There are certain things that are put up on the walls of the classroom. These are donated items, donated by the rich people. There is a Shakespeare's portrait. There is a picture in which morning sky is shown as cloudless. There is a picture in which there are domes of buildings that shine in all cities. There is a picture of Tyrole's Valley, which is covered with flowers and where there are musical bells. There is a map of the world, which symbolically awards the whole world to the world of the children. And yet, the poet says that the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum is the world of the children. This map is not the world of the children. The world of the children is the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum. The poet says that their future is painted with a fog. Their future is uncertain. There is no hope. It is like a narrow street sealed in from outside with a lead sky. It means there is only uncertainty, hopelessness, and despair in their future. Their future is not bright. Far, far from rivers, caves, and stars of words. The slums in which they live. This is far away from the beautiful rivers, caves, and light of knowledge. Now, I will explain the third stanza. Surely Shakespeare is wicked. The map, a bad example. The poet says that for these deprived children of the slum, Shakespeare is wicked. Shakespeare is evil. Shakespeare is cruel. Why Shakespeare is cruel for them? Why he is an evil person for the children of the slum? It is because these children will never get quality education. They will never be sent to good schools in which they will learn about the works of Shakespeare and other writers. That is why Shakespeare's portrait that is hanging on the wall of the classroom is called as useless for these children. Okay, in this sense, the Shakespeare is wicked for them because they will never learn about Shakespeare, they will never learn about his works. The map a bad example. The writer says, the poet says that the map of the world, which is hanging on the wall, is a bad example for this, for the children of the slum. Uh, Example of what? The example of the world. The map of the world that is shown, that is hanging on the wall, is a bad example of the world, because these children live in a dirty place. They live in slums, which is dirty, squalid, and full of garbage. There are small houses, no facilities. So these children will never get to live in the world shown in the map. The map shows the beautiful world. These children will never have access to this world. They will always live in the dirty slums. So in this sense, this map is a bad example of the world for these children, with ships and sun and love tempting them to steal. It means that the map that is hanging on the wall depicts many beautiful things of nature, such as ships, sun, and love. Love is also shown there, because these children do not get love. They are not loved. And the picture shows these things, such as the beautiful things like sun, like ships, and love. With ships, sun, love tempting them to steal. Tempt means entice, lalchana. These things like ships, sun, love entice these children, because these children do not have these things. They can only see in the map. They cannot enjoy all these things in their real life. So they entice them. Entice them means these children also want to have these things. They also want to enjoy these things, but they cannot do so. Tempting them to steal. Tempting them to steal means these children want to steal these things. Want to steal means they want to go to these places. They want to enjoy these places, but they are unable to do so. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. Slyly means secretly. For lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. Cramped means narrow. Cramped holes means narrow houses. These children's houses where they live is compared with narrow holes in which rats live. Rats live in narrow holes, and these children live in small huts. So their huts are compared with narrow holes in which rats live. Lives, in this sense, it is said like this: for lives, their lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, from fog to endless night. From fog to endless night. This phrase means this phrase means the perpetual state of poverty. Perpetual means always. A state of poverty in which they always live. They never come out of this. So these children live in small houses like rats live in cramped holes, in narrow holes, and there is perpetual state. They live in these houses in a perpetual state of poverty, hunger, and hopelessness. On their slag heap, these children wear skins peeped through by bones and spectacles of steel. On their slag heap, slag means waste material, dirt or garbage. Slag heap means a heap of dirt, heap of rubbish. On their slag heap, what means their slag heap? The bodies of the children is described as slag heap, as the bodies of the children are described as heaps of rubbish. On their slag heap, on their bodies, these children wear skins peeped through by bones. These children wear skins. It means these children are very thin. They are like skeletons, and there is no meat, no flesh on their body. There is bones and skins. These children are so thin that they wear is that skins are described as if they are wearing it as clothes. Just try to understand this. These on their slag heap, these children wear skins. These children are so thin. These children wear skins peeped through by bones. These children wear skins peeped through by bones. On their bodies, these children wear skins that are so thin that even bones can be seen through it. They are so thin that the bones beneath the skin can peep through the skins. What it means, let me explain to you this Hindi also. उनके जिस्म इतने ये बच्चे इतने दुबले पतले हैं कि उनके जिस्म के ऊपर जो स्किन है वो इतने पतले हैं कि उनके ऊपर गोश्त नहीं है, सिर्फ हड्डी है और उसके ऊपर जो है स्किन है, और स्किन इतनी पतली है कि उसके अंदर से हड्डियां झांक रही हैं. द स्किन of these children is so thin that the bones are peeping through these skins, or we can say that the skins are so thin that bones are visible through them. And spectacles of steel, they are also wearing spectacles which are made of steel. This is not made of like my glasses, like my spectacles, which is made of plastic. The spectacles that these children are wearing are made of steel with mended glass, and the glasses are broken and mended. Mended means repaired. Their glasses are broken and then mended. Like bottle beads on the stones. And these repaired glasses look like pieces of bottles. Bottle beads means pieces of bottles that are kept on stones. These children are wearing spectacles made of steel, and the glasses are broken and repaired, and they look like pieces of bottle on stones. All of their time and space are foggy slum. All of their time and space are foggy slum. Fog means without hope. Fog means without hope. Foggy means full of hope. Foggy means, foggy means full of fog. Something that is full of fog. And if something is foggy, it means there is no hope, without hope. And the foggy slums means slum in which there is no hope. Okay, all of their time and space are foggy slum. It means all their time and space are spent in these slums where there is no hope. There is only hunger, poverty, and uncertainty. There is no hope for the future. It means their whole life is spent in these foggy slums where there is no hope. There is only poverty and hunger and uncertainty. So blot their maps with slums as big as dome. Blot their maps. Blot is a verb. It means blemish, dhabba lagana. So blot their maps with slums as big as dome. with slums as big as them. The slums uh, where they live, the slums as big as Dome. Dome means hell. The slums are described here as hell. These slums in which these children live are living hells, and they are as big as a hell. And these slums are a blot on the map of the civilized world. They blot the map of the civilized world. These slums are also on the same earth as these beautiful things of nature, these beautiful buildings, these ships and love. Everything is there on this earth only. But this area where the children live, this is also on the same earth, but this is like a living hell. This area, the slums where the children live, blot the map of this area, blot the civilized world. They blemish the civilized world. ये slums जहाँ पे ये लोग रहते हैं वो civilized world के ऊपर एक बड़ा धब्बा है. Unless, okay. Now second stanza. Unless governor, inspector, visitor. These are only the designations of the government officials. Unless governor, inspector, visitor. What it means? It means that the poet has described the conditions of the slum children, and he has compared their pitiable condition with the civilized world, with the beautiful world of the civilized people, of the rich people. Okay, and the poet finds that there is a huge gap between the two worlds, between the civilized world, between the world of the rich and the world of these poor children. There is a huge gap, and the poet wants to bridge that gap. The poet wants to reduce the gap between the two worlds. So that's why the poet says that unless governor, inspector, visitor, it means that unless these government officials like governor, inspector and visitors visit these areas where the poor people live, unless these people, these government officials visit the slums, the dirty slums where the children live, their condition cannot be improved. The poet actually wants these government officials to visit the areas where the slum children live and help those children, help the people so that their condition is also improved. They also get a better life. This map becomes their window. It means that when the government officials will visit these places and they try, rather it should be said like this, that the government officials should visit these areas and try to improve the conditions of that area so that the map becomes their window. The map that shows the beautiful things of the civilized world become their windows. Whose windows? The windows of the children. The windows of the children means that the map that shows the beautiful world also become their world. The children can also enjoy this world. The map becomes their window. This map becomes their window through which they can see the beautiful world outside. Okay. And these windows, they shut upon their lives like catacombs. And these windows, that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Okay, this might become their window, and these windows, they shut upon their lives like catacombs. Okay. And these windows, uh, which windows the poet is referring to? These windows means the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum, the dirty slums. These windows, they shut upon their lives like catacombs. Catacombs means underground cemetery, big underground graveyard where many where there are many graves of people, many graves of the dead bodies. They are buried in an underground cemetery. So the poet is comparing their the lives of the slum children as with catacombs, with underground graves. And these windows they shut upon their lives like catacombs. They are these windows of the classroom. I'm sorry, these windows of the slums have confined all their hopes and dreams. And these children, the people living in the slums, are not able to make progress. They do not get any opportunity for growth and development. They are shut in the dirty slums, like dead bodies are buried in underground graveyards. And the poet wants that these catacombs, these graveyards must be broken, and these children must be taken out of them. They shut upon their lives like catacombs. Break open till they break the town. Till they break that and show the children to green fields. The poet wants that these slums, which have confined all their hopes and dreams, must be broken, and these children must be taken out of them, and show the children to green fields. They should be taken out, and they should be taken to green fields, to open fields where they can breathe fresh air, where they can breathe properly, where they can live properly. What the poet means to say is that all the barriers, all the obstacles that bind these children, that block their progress, must be broken so that these children also get the opportunity to make progress. Okay. Okay. Now the poet wants that these children should be taken out of the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum, and make their world run either on gold sands, and make their world run either on gold sands. When these children are taken out of the dirty and unpleasant surroundings of the slum, they will get a new life. These children should also be taken to places where they can enjoy where they can run freely on gold sands under the blue sky. Make their world run either on golden sands. Run either means a bright sky. Gold sands. It can be explained in this way that these children, the world of these children extend to the bright sky and the sea waves that rise on gold sands. It means that these children should be taken, these children should be allowed to run freely on golden sands under the blue sky, and let their tongues run naked into books the white and green leaves open, and let their tongues run naked. Let their tongues run naked means they should be allowed to their tongues run naked means they can express themselves freely. It means that these children should be taken to schools. They should be provided with good education so that they can express themselves freely. Their tongues run naked into books and white and green leaves open. White leaves depict books, education, and green leaves depict nature. So the poet wants these children that these children should also be given an opportunity to study, to go to good schools, and they should be allowed to live in clean environment. History theirs, whose language is the sun. The poet says that history theirs, whose language is sun. Try to understand. History theirs, it means history is made or created by those whose language has the warmth and energy of the sun. Okay, so I think this explanation of the poem is over, and if there is anything remaining, you will understand it in the next session. Now, because in the next session we will do some questions, short answer type questions, and some extract based questions and some short answer type questions. So with the help of these questions, any remaining doubts will be removed. You will be better able to understand this poem. This poem is actually not an easy poem, you can say, and try to go through the explanation, try to listen to my explanation, and then try to concentrate on the questions and answers, and I am sure that you will be able to understand this poem well. Thank you very much.